SOD the farmers. They voted Brexit. Yes, they pushed for it, they did. They promoted it. They had straw bales with big signs on saying, vote out. And now they're whinging and they're whining because their Brexit has not delivered. No. Now I hear you say sod the farmers. Well, yeah, I just did, didn't I? You know. But you've got to eat something, haven't you? But can't we just import all our food? Well, we kind of almost doing that already. Haven't you noticed that the shelf life is, well, shortening by the day? Well, you see, we're importing our food in the United Kingdom from further afield. It's taken longer, and included diseases come free, you see. Well, unfortunately for the farmers, it hasn't really paid off for them. No, not at all. Not, look like this, they kind of had to put it. The worm has started to turn. Because then, from them being, how to put it, farmer support for Brexit, as strong as ever back in 2017, when they had diddly squat idea of what the consequences of Brexit were going to be before the vote, let alone after the vote. But now they're feeling the brunt of their vote. And it's not just the farmers, no. It's hitting everybody now. And the UK's place in the world has diminished. Soft power, diminished. Our ability to export, diminished. Even London is struggling in comparison to what it would have been if we were still in the EU. You see, the farmers are now revolting. Well, they are quite revolting. Some of them are quite smelly, actually. I've been to a few farms, and yeah, even in the houses smell of cow poo. But anyway, they're now only seeing the negative of Brexit. UK farmers on Brexit and losing the common agricultural policy. Yeah. They're not happy. No. Fearing for the future, North Devon farmers divided over Brexit. They're feeling the brunt of it, you see. This isn't just... This is like back in 2019, this was. It's been a whole string of complaints that Brexit is not what was sold to them. Well, if you believe a bunch of lies, that's up to you, I suppose. But I suppose if the government is telling you these lies, well, then you suppose, oh, well, it must be true, because they said so. It's like those evangelical types. If God said 2 + 2 = 5, well, it must do then. Well, you see, they're a bunch of numpties who put the cross in the wrong box, but they did, including evangelical types. Farmers damning our views on Brexit in the survey. And the thing that kind of gets me is why didn't we explain to these people, logically and honestly, what they got, why they were in the European Union? Did they honestly believe that the UK government was going to put the cost, match what they were getting from the EU, the Common Agricultural Policy? Was it the payment system called BPS or something? BSP? Oh, anyway, it's money. Now, the crazy thing here is, about 40% of the EU's budget actually went on the Common Agricultural Policy. And it says here, this is for open democracy, and it's guided food production and land use across the continent for about a 55-year period, which has marked changes in farming practices and what have you. Okay, we have got problems here with farmers protesting. But you know what this idiocy is? It's kind of Dunning-Kruger effect, or I don't know. Crikey, it's just mind-numbing, whatever it is. Fact is, it's about the blame game. It's about who do we blame? Because they don't accept responsibility for themselves. It's everybody else's fault. Just like the Reform Party, they kind of admit that Brexit is a disaster. Nigel Farage admitted Brexit is a disaster. Okay. Anne Waddlebottom, Anne Widdecombe, she says, isn't that Brexit is a disaster? It's how we implemented Brexit is a disaster, she goes. Well, can't accept responsibility for the catastrophic decision option that was placed before the British people. Now we're having to deal with it. And the farmers are, unfortunately for them, are in a situation where they don't know where the land lies ahead of them. And now they find out that DEFRA had buried analysis information showing the dire financial prospects for hill farmers in this case. But it ain't just hill farmers. All farmers across the board have been hit by the decisions of this government post-Brexit. But there's always going to be the case. There was never going to be the money. 40% of the EU budget went to the CAP. Can you imagine 40% of GDP going to to the farmers? No, that was never going to happen. I know they're not quite the same thing, but this happens to be in The Guardian, and it is quite interesting, actually, and just shows how deep the deceit goes. The DEFRA officials buried analysis showing the dire financial prospects for hill farmers. This an exclusive Freedom of Information request reveals fears that many would sell up if they saw the assessment of post-Brexit farming payments scheme. Now, I'm trying to find the details and the actual figures for this, stats. There's been a rise in suicides amongst farmers in the United Kingdom since Brexit. That's the sad truth. Government officials have buried analysis of the financial prospects for some of the most vulnerable farmers in the United Kingdom after realising it was almost entirely bad news. The Guardian can reveal. Still hasn't been published, though. Still hasn't been published. It's the Freedom of Information request. That's what it takes these days. That's why we can't trust anything they tell you. It's all lies. Pretty much all of it is just lies. False hope. Dangle a carrot. Sunlit uplands. That's what they said, wasn't it? Now, the analysis was to have been part of an optimistic look. Okay? It didn't work out, no. At the financial situation for upland farmers and some of the poorest in the country, like sheep farmers and what have you. But minutes from the meetings about the plans obtained through a Freedom of Information request have revealed concerns raised about the negative findings. So obviously didn't publish them because they were negative findings. Typical, isn't it? Well, farming groups said it was irresponsible not to make the analysis public after Freedom of Information documents showed officials refused to publish it as ministers would not like it. Ministers would not like it. Who the heck do they work for? Anyway, according to the minutes, the official commented, and one official commented, it could end up with no pathways to success at the end. We only want to publish if we have something which is positive to tell people. Well, that tells people everything. You've been hoodwinked. That you have. And quite frankly, to see Jacob Rees-Mogg, Doff Cap Borlock and all that, the Walking Penny Farthing, right wheel and pencil. That, shall I say it? Yeah, twat. Well, it was good to see him being drawn over the coals by a farmer on GB News. The not news channel. Was it news? Anyway, the government officials admitted that upland farmers were falling into the financial crisis and many will go out of business. Officials feared that when upland farmers saw the data showing how much money they would make, they would sell up. They said, bugger this, we're off. And we can remember about some of these farmers. Some are tenant farmers, so they rent the land, and some of them are some of them own and rent the land, so they expand their farms by renting additional land. Well, that prevents, because they don't own the land, they can't get the subsidy on it. Yet they're still managing that land, and they get tied into agreements on that land, which is not earning them any money. So officials believed upland farmers were dismissive of the environment. I would say some of them probably are not upland farmers. I would say traditional farmers, with the tractors and stuff like that, they're damaging the land. We overfarm the land. We don't let it sit fallow. That's what we should be doing. If you want to regenerate the land, I think the best thing to do is put solar panels on the land. Because that land doesn't get farmed then. I know you're not getting nothing to eat, but, you know, look at us Brits and myself. We could do with shedding a few pounds, couldn't we? Eh? So many upland farmers only remain financially viable because the EU-derived basic payment scheme. Yes, the BPS. It's BPS. A system that will be completely phased out by 2027, replaced with the quite S something or other, which is absolutely ridiculous because it's nowhere near. It's about a tenth of what they were getting before. The post-Brexit farming payments schemes will be given to farmers who restore nature. So it doesn't make a difference, does it? We're not going to be growing any food anyway. That will be set to fallow. But they are. God, this is nuts. This is what you call offshoring your carbon footprint. That's what it is. You're just offshoring your carbon footprint. Because you have to import the food, which is coming thousands of miles away by ship. That doesn't sound very environmental to me. Doesn't make any sense at all. It's about hoodwinking the British people and oh, look at all these lovely hills, rolling hills we've got now, you know. Oh, we're doing such a good job for the environment. Oh, no, you're not. You're just importing all your shit. That's what you're doing. What happens in the war? What happens in, you know, we're quite close to a war now. What happens then? Where are you going to get your food from? You can't rely on India anymore. You can't starve 15 million people over there, can you? No, just so you can feed your troops. Can't do that anymore. Not starved to death, actually. That was quite horrific. Yeah, lovely man, Churchill. Yeah. Anyway, so the post-Brexit farming schemes will be given to farmers who restore nature, but they are easier to access for those who own their own land. Aha, here we go. Many of the upland farmers are commoners or tenant farmers. They don't, but also they're not just tenant farmers. Some of the farmers here. Our local farmer, he owns a huge amount of land, but he's topped his land up, his acreage up or hectarage up with renting land. Oh, so anyway, the scheme is replaces the cap. It's so they can create wildflower meadows, improving rolling hills, intimidating with the hair and all that, improving soil health and reducing the pesticide use. That makes no sense whatsoever. They've just gone back on it. One of the rolled over rules from the EU were banning certain pesticides. The UK has just authorised them. So that's just another flippin' lie. When are people going to wake up? Wake up, people! Get in there with your flippin' pitchforks and shove up their derrieres. That's what you got to do. Flippin' hell, kill all the buggers. Stick with the stocks. Go down the rivers, pick up the shit and throw at them. That's what you got to do. Flippin' hell. We are, I'm sorry, but British people, we're a bunch of flippin' weaklings, we are. We really are. I'm getting frustrated now. You come over in France, the farmers, they'll protest if not happy. I don't agree with them, but they'll protest. I mean, serious protests. They don't mind flinging a bit of shit. What's happened to us? What we've got farmers going around at the moment in Wales, what have you, done with a protest in Kent, and they drive slow. Drive them slow. Yeah, it causes disruption for ordinary people. But those in charge are not getting affected. Fling the shit out of their houses. And stick them in the stocks. I can't prefer keelhauling myself, but anyway, it might be a little bit aggressive. But anyway, upland farmers especially have feared losing their BPS and being unable to make enough money under the new scheme to make ends meet. Vote for it. I'm sorry, but the majority of farmers voted for Brexit. Just like the majority of the people in the United Kingdom voted for Brexit. Actually, should I just say England? Yeah, the majority of people in England voted for Brexit because Scotland didn't vote for Brexit. Northern Ireland didn't even vote for Brexit. Wales voted for Brexit. Although they blame it on immigrants. English immigrants. Oh my God. We've lost our minds, people. We have. We just lost our flipping minds. What the hell what are we thinking? This is just madness. We need to somehow get closer alignment with the EU. Keir Starmer isn't promising it. It doesn't appear to me, no. I don't think it's hand-tied. I don't see what you can do. Because there's rules, you see. You can only abide by the rules that are set. They can't set different rules for England than they can for everywhere else. Everyone else will want those rules, wouldn't they? And that become a part of their negotiations. Oh, anyway. What do you reckon? Please leave it in the comments down below. We have truly scuppered ourselves. Actually, no, I haven't. Because I live in France. Oh, there's food everywhere. As far as the eye can see. But still, my family is in the UK, and that's why I like to talk about this stuff. Because it is shit. And good people suffer from decisions made by idiotic, selfish, nasty, angry Nigel Farage followers who got all horny when he took his shirt off on GB News. Was that you? Oh, be honest. Anyway, if you want to boot the old like button, it helps the channel, you know. You probably won't after that. You probably all just clicked off and unsubscribed if you were a subscriber. If you want to support the channel, you can do it on Patreon, or you can just buy us a coffee, or you've got super thanks and stuff like that. There's a lot of different options. I'll keep the channel going, you know. Otherwise, it could just disappear overnight. Who knows? I don't know what's going to go on at the moment. But we're doing a rewilding project here, which in France, where we're planting 1,000 trees on 2 hectares of land. Don't matter where we do it, and this needs to be done. We need to plant more trees. We really do. They're being chopped down faster than we're growing them. Do you know of many forests up in Thetford and Black Forest and places like that in the United Kingdom? They've disappeared. It's been covered in trees. But not now. So plant a tree. And if you can't do it on your doorstep, why not do it on mine? And I'll plant a tree on your behalf. There's a GoFundMe link down below where you can basically buy a tree. And I'll plant a tree on your behalf and put a sign with the tree. And I'll provide some evidence as well, because we're making signs, we are. And I'll be uploading videos on this channel, but also on our rewilding channel. Links are all down below. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'm sorry if the video got a bit long, but I'm getting a little bit irate about this, because quite frankly, Brexit is just bloomin' stupid. Frustrating. And it makes me angry. It do. And I'm not really an angry person. No. I'm gonna go and play with my wood. In the workshop, that is. Toodaloo.